multiple times in private chat.
Okay, but see, again, that was like a long time ago, and I cannot, for the life of me, remember anything that happened more than 7 days ago.
It was maybe a month ago.
Oh, see? I had a very long week.
Welcome back to the Yaoi Shelf.
Welcome back!
And relax. Hiatus is over.
Wow.
I moved.
Congratulations, you survived.
A lot of my furniture didn't.
Yeah, that's true. I've been telling everybody. I've been like, because they're like, oh, but you're busy on Sundays, right? And I'm like, yeah, not this month. Amanda's been moving, and they lost half her furniture, and apparently she has no rights.
Well, that's true. I'm a black AFAB in America. I do have no rights. But
honestly.
Yeah, I told everyone in the server that I was moving, but I didn't say how far I was moving. I moved from San Antonio back up north, which is about 300 miles. It was a long haul move where I shoved my stuff into a U-Haul and bribed my best friend to drive it for me. And I had the worst movers in both directions. The ones in San Antonio broke like half of my furniture, and then just pieces went missing. Like somehow I arrived in Dallas, Fort Worth, missing an entire television. And like multiple bookcases broke, dining table broke, just shit broke.
I don't understand.
And when I finally confronted them later, I got a refund, but it doesn't cover really the cost of anything. It covered the cost of a new television.
Like, but what is the point then?
And then my movers here in Dallas, Fort Worth, oh my God, it was like this hyper competent black guy and this one white dude who, I shit you not, was wearing like a sleeveless cutoff vest, skinny jeans that did not fit him, and like there was a sparkly belt, like a bedazzled belt, and like black leather Chelsea boots. Like he clearly had a show he was going to after this, but he decided, yeah, I can move furniture upstairs in this.
That's fine. What?
He was so clearly uncomfortable, so incompetent. Like tried to take up like 9 boxes at once, and then I had to physically step in and tell him, no, don't do this. My move was a disaster. Ask me questions about it in Discord. But welcome to Podcast Wall 2.0. You might be noticing, hey, it's still pretty bare. All of my figures are still in bags. My children are still in bags and in boxes. I've unboxed maybe one new one, which is Edward Elric.
Yay.
But don't worry, this will get filled out to being peak dopamine decor soon. I'm just happy to have an office. I'm happy to have a space dedicated to recording that isn't my dining room, which is over there somewhere.
Wow. I
have a door that I can shut. It's like if I am entertaining guests, like my aunt thinks I will be. I can leave them outside for 2 hours and shut the door like I'm a negligent dog owner.
Yeah.
My bedroom is much larger, which is so nice, but I don't know what to do with it because I've been living in a small bedroom. So I'm just like, what do I do? Get a fuck ass chair?
Yeah, you can have the dedicated closed chair, you know?
I was thinking a dedicated like yaoi reading corner, but it looks like a Victorian opium den. Just draped in rich fabrics where I go and read my smut.
I mean, it doesn't sound too bad.
Also, before we start the topic, Carola complimented my writing last night, and I have been writing high.
It was very good, though. I mean, not that you don't know this. I do not read your stuff a lot because, let's face it, I suck at everything. And you write a lot of things that I don't know anything about. But
But
I
you do know Matt and Mella.
yes, and I also do know good writing. So if you have not read Amanda's fics, I think you should, because Chef's Kiss, very good. Yes.
Even though you don't know the Bible reference I made during a sex scene.
I mean, I know who he is.
But yeah, it's been a hectic move, and I'm so glad to be in a space. I'm glad to have a brighter wall. You guys aren't supposed to see this wall. Don't worry, it's a work in progress. But welcome back to the Yaoi Shelf. Carola, we've had a lot of time to think about this topic.
Yeah, like half a lifetime. if you want to be honest about it, not just like in podcast terms.
This is true. And I think this is one of those, again, very necessary conversations that's important to have. Mm-hmm. Because I think especially modern fans don't get this connection as overtly. So some of the things that they'll complain about, they don't have context as to why it's there.
Like with literally everything else.
We have a whole episode about that planned for next month.
I'm so excited.
You're excited to be mean.
I'm not excited. I am so tired. With everything that's been going on lately in the internet world.
We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. I think...
yes.
No, but like before we get into the topic at hand, we may also address... I don't know if you saw, I put it in the outline, because yes, we are back from hiatus, and also you are now listening to an actual award-winning podcast.
We're an award-winning podcast!
I thought that was nice to mention, especially because I fucked up and didn't post the graphic after I made it. So I'm gonna do that after the
episode. So this is during the time when I was busy like packing my entire life to move. So I leaned on my co-host. I asked her sweetly, can you help me do something? Which is something I don't usually do.
With good reason.
Yes. Yes. But I begged her sweetly. I'm surrounded by boxes. I don't know where my clothes are. We just won this award. Please help me.
And I made the graphics and
she made the graphic. I gave her some feedback. There was a whole round of revision.
Yeah, and then
I left my isolation bubble of packing. And I saw the graphic again and was like, did we ever post this?
And I was like, no. And then I did not post it. But in my defense, I have been, I'm in a never-ending spiral of burnout, and then things keep getting in my way. So there's that. But yeah, no, I will get that out there. But we, let me just.
We won most informative from BL University. So this is that was awarded to us by the fans. We didn't submit ourselves. We didn't do anything. In fact, I didn't know we were in the top 3 until like the day before the announcement came out of who won.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So thank you all for saying that we're informative.
Thank you. Yeah, like and it's like, it's almost like I don't want to say it's entirely surprising, because I do hope that we do some good things on this podcast, but like we do sit around and whinge and whine a lot. But I'm glad that what we are trying to do with the information and everything is actually coming through to the audience. I appreciate that a lot.
You said whinge, and I immediately went back to the part of my brain that has been reading a lot of Game of Thrones fanfic, and now I have to learn High Valyrian.
Yes, of course.
Because if a fanfic author can translate a fraction of their fic into High Valyrian, the least I can do as a reader
is to learn a language.
Is to learn a fictional language.
Oh my god.
Which one?
To lay down next to me, and she's looking up at me all lovingly, and I feel so blessed.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about a thing that I don't like very much.
Now, don't be. This was your idea.
Because it's important for the culture. That doesn't mean I have to like it.
I like it. I think it's very fitting that we're doing it now.
Yes.
Both because, I mean, I have been watching a lot. I say a lot. Like, I'm behind on literally everything. But the three things I've been watching lately have been shoujos.
Yes.
And, like, that are relevant to this topic. And also because, as we all know, it was like what the hell? 30th? There was an anniversary. I'm very bad at math. But yeah, both Oran and Nana came out on the same day in early April in 2006. So that is 20 years ago. And I would like to kill myself.
Mortality encroaches. Mortality has the chat.
I don't like it.
Yeah, very much so. It's actually very, very funny because I can't find Kyoya's base. So he's sitting right here, and Tamaki is right next to him.
I was looking at, like, I still need to get the twins, and I'm so mad that one, they are not sold as a set.
They are not.
And two, why the fuck are they so expensive?
It's you twincest perverts.
I have never encountered an Endoroid this pricey. Like, what the hell? Why are they so expensive?
Yashido and Domeki were very expensive. But yeah, it's you twincest perverts. And I say that lovingly. It was you twincest degenerates who drove up the price.
I don't even own them. I can't.
You weren't the only one, Carola.
No, and everyone else ruined it for me. And it's like I just think
it's like a senior discount, like
yes, actually yes, I was
like
there.
A Fujin veteran discount.
Yes. You know, sometimes, like, you know, I am not above admitting to not knowing things. So I learned a new term recently. That is when Fujoshi reaches the age of 35 and above, she may refer to herself as a kifujin, which is a noble woman. So we have now reached official, like, old lady Fujin status, noble women. I deserve my senior discount, okay?
I'm going to design you a senior Fujo, like, card that you can put in your wallet.
Will it work on the Good Smile website?
You know what? I can send them a message. I don't know why I said that like I have power. We're an award-winning podcast after all.
Watch me throw every single, like, minuscule credential I have to get this discount. I need the twins. Please.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay, what are we talking about?
See, you can tell we missed each other. Carola was being a gremlin earlier, and I was like, oh my gosh, I missed you, blah, blah, blah. And Carola was like, yeah, that's nice and all. Yeah, you can tell she missed me too.
Under the bus.
And threw me under the bus multiple times. But you can tell she missed me too, because it's been 13 minutes and we've done nothing.
We've done something.
We talked about
so
people. This month we're talking about the Shoujo to Fujin pipeline. Because I'm a kind seme, and a hiatus is over, so we're celebrating. Because originally we were going to do a very different episode.
We were.
And I, in my infinite wisdom and kindness, said Carola's not going to want to talk about that right now.
No, I will say I am very grateful because I don't think I have the bandwidth to do the research that would be required for the episodes the one we were originally planning. I'm very happy.
Yes. So let's talk about how Shoujo helped influence BL very overtly because I feel like again we say it every episode and we assume that our listeners, are of a similar age, of a similar understanding, but we don't get to most informative by not informing.
No,
So
and
I think it's
again,
important.
this
Yes,
could be someone's first episode. God help them.
exhales.
Honestly, this isn't the worst episode to come in on, I feel. Like, if you're
It's
new
been
here,
15
welcome.
minutes.
Yeah.
It's
No,
been 15 minutes.
Okay, what's your point? At least it's not one of these completely, like, traumatic episodes. I think this is going to be, for us, relatively hinged. Unless, of course, you already balked at the twincest, but in that case...
Thank you.
This might not be the podcast for you.
This is
Amanda's
why.
like, why? Why am I doing this with this person? Are you sure you missed me?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I was literally, it was full, like, little uke, like, Gaku in heaven feelings of, like, I was in my bathroom brushing my hair. It's like, I get to talk to Carola today. I was so excited.
Oh, God, I can't even imagine.
I was so excited that you do this to me.
I'm sorry.
So we're going to talk about the history of how Shoujo gave us BL as we know it. Carola, take it away.
It's like pulls out a banjo. Hi, if you're new here, I've done this a couple of times. Okay, first of all, we have to talk about my favorite thing on the planet, which is like labels and semantics, and I really love words and categorizing things. Okay, and shoujo is often attributed as a genre, which it isn't. Okay,
No.
I mean, it is and it isn't. It has become a genre in the same way that because of mistranslations and things. So the way that we use it often is used to refer to a genre, but in fact it is a demographic. So Japanese manga is often, I love how I said Japanese manga, but yeah, manga is often split into like 4 main demographics. So there's shoujo, shonen, josei, and seinen, right? So shoujo is aimed at a younger female audience, like that's the main demographic, and then shonen is young boys, josei is older women, like 20s, like adult women, and then seinen is adult men. And of course there's an overlap of audience here. It's not like, I mean, it's not like only 14-year-old girls are watching Sailor Moon, for instance, which is a shoujo, and but also second point to this is that shoujo is often considered to be romance only. So therefore, if you watch a romance anime or like read a romance manga, you often just think that, oh, this is shoujo. That is also incorrect because again, it is about the demographics. So for instance, horimiya, which is like really popular in the romantic comedy genre, is actually made by Square Enix and therefore is more aimed towards a shonen audience compared to, say, something like, I almost said Nana, but that's a josei. Like something like Oran, for instance, which we will inevitably talk about. So romance, like shoujo doesn't have to be romance, and all romance is not shoujo. So for instance, like Banana Fish, which has to be mentioned, is a shoujo.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, because it's my favorite example. Because when a lot of people think of shoujo, they think of like school settings and high school romances and girls blushing and bishy bubbles, not gangsters with guns running around New York getting themselves murdered in the subway, right? And also I also think it's a good segue because again, Banana Fish came out in that kind of like the time frame where BL comes into itself and sort of starts really leaving the shoujo, again using it as a genre, because BL starts in the late in the 70s with, again, the Fabulous 49ers, Takemiya Hagio,
Mhm.
Heart of Toma, Kazutoki no Uta, and then it goes into like the subgenre of romantic love stories, tragedies aimed towards a female audience, and it comes
Mhm.
into its own in the 90s as BL. And so
Mhm.
Banana Fish kind of exists on the cusp of that, and it's kind of like both at the same time. So I like to
Yeah.
use it as like a frame. And also because I love it a lot.
I was about to say the writer's barely disguised fetish. No, we could have easily brought up Inuyasha, which is written by a.
But I don't have a reference for that. I've never read or watched Inuyasha, you know. So Banana
Well, I
Fish
know
it
what
is.
you're doing when you come to the States.
When I come to the States today.
You have to visit the gun ammo machine.
Oh
Or the
my
gun
god.
vending machine.
Yeah, I guess you have to show me the picture of your new neighborhood ammo vending machine.
But yeah, Shoujo, I think understanding, especially the very, I want to say modern, but that very like 80s to 2000s era of what Shoujo is, where it is a lot of schoolgirls and slice of life,
Mm,
um, romances that are sometimes very problematic. Sometimes.
sometimes.
Um, and then a lot of the tropes assigned with it, the melodrama, the
Yeah.
if one person had a conversation, the
No.
oh, my feelings are so strong, I'm gonna do this. Okay, you can hear my cynicism. We're gonna table that for a second, but I think that's where most of us, when we think of Shoujo, is where our heads are,
Yeah.
for better and worse.
Yeah, but it's like, I mean, I know it. Like, I just did that whole thing, and it's like, you know, shaking my finger at people like, shoujo is not what you think it is. But when I think about it,
Yes, it
what
is.
am I thinking of? Like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm thinking of shoujo high school romance comedies.
Right.
Because partially also because, I mean, that's what we grew up with. And these
Right.
are, I think, they're like stories that are, you know, they're evergreen, right? Because
Mhm.
we've all lived in that existence somehow, like
Yeah.
not necessarily. Some of us were better at communicating even as teenagers. I'll give us that, you know. But we've all kind of like, it's easy to relate to characters who are going through a lot of the same things that you are. And also they tend to be, you know, they're fun. I think they're fun.
And then you have me over on the opposite spectrum, where the character I related to most was Edward Elric.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that because I think sometimes, um, I know, especially without context, a lot of my disliking of stuff feels very like 2010 YouTube white man contrarian. Where it's like, oh, I don't like popular things, and if you like mainstream stuff, you're a hack and you're a poser. No, I usually have a reason for not liking stuff,
Yeah.
and it's usually rooted in some stuff that was going on in my past. But like, I do recognize that I can come off aggressively, like, oh, you're not a real anime fan unless you've watched this. It's like, okay, sir.
No, but and I mean, I know what you mean, you know, because we all have things.
We
You
do.
know, we all have our things. We all have our reasons, and you know, again, like I was just thinking about this because recently I am now going completely off topic to talk about other traumatizing and horrible things. But I was, we had a movie night recently where we decided that okay, actually, we were celebrating Maya's birthday. So Maya's, you know, the main character in one of my novels. We always celebrate his birthday, and we usually do it by getting a bunch of snacks and then like watching X Japan concerts. But for some reason, I was like, we should watch some old anime films that we've never seen before. And I knew because like I tend to not like these like classics that everybody love, and for various reasons. Like, for instance, I'm not big on science fiction. I don't like it. I try to wrap my brain around it. It never works. And I was like, and then there's like all of these things. They're so artsy, right? So we decided to watch. We watched Kanashimi no Belladonna, so the Belladonna of Sadness, which is nothing but sexual trauma, and it's very good. It's also strangely like it's the very experimental art style. And then we watched Tenshi no Tamago, which also really, really, really good animation. What the fuck was happening, right? and when I say things like this, it's typical. It's like, why are these critically acclaimed cult classics always so weird? And I swear that so many of these, particularly dude bros who claim that, oh, this is the best thing I've ever seen, you're just saying that because you didn't get it, and you just want to be like, you want to have the right opinion. And I think that that's like, you want to be like, yeah.
I do feel that way about a very certain, like, Stanley Kubrick bro.
Yeah.
Because, like, I made the mistake when I was dating men that are like, oh, yeah, I really like film and film criticism. I was like, ugh, I don't think that you understand
oh my God,
A Clockwork Orange. It's like, do you understand A Clockwork Orange?
Yeah. And like, I'm over here like, listen, I spent a very long time reading about Tenshi no Tamago afterwards because I was trying to understand it. And the director literally said that it doesn't really have, like, not to say it doesn't have a point, but you're not supposed to understand it. That's the point. And I'm like, but sure, some college bro is going to tell me that I'm wrong because I don't think deeply enough.
That's my favorite. Do you really understand Bleach? Do you understand Bleach?
And it's like, and again, it's like what we've said a lot of times on this podcast as well. Like, it's okay to dislike something, and it's also very okay to not understand something, or not, or like to not put a lot of. You can enjoy the thing just to enjoy it.
Yeah, I think let's go over some history and demographics, which we did a little bit. Or you know what? Should we dive into why I specifically don't like a lot of shoujo?
I mean, it's in the. I was about to say deadline. It's in the outline, so I think feel free to release the trauma.
All the trigger warnings. So, we mentioned shoujo, especially when we were coming up, being this very primarily like high school girl that has never had a problem in her life. Lots of big feelings about very trivial things. And, mostly carefree, not a lot of interpersonal drama, but interpersonal drama that could be very, very easily solved by having a conversation. That was the hallmark of a lot of shoujo that existed during our time. Would you agree or disagree?
I agree. And also that sometimes exists today.
Right. The problem for me is that by the time that I was 14 years old, reading a lot of this shoujo, I had buried my father, emancipated myself from my neglectful mother, was living with my abusive aunts, and had already dealt with grief and tragedy on a level that most people my age hadn't. Now, I used to have a much worse chip on my shoulder about that. Again, hence why I connected to Edward Elric.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a lot of patience, sympathy, or time for these, frankly, dumb girls whose biggest problem was picking what soda they wanted out of the vending machine. I had shit going on.
Yeah.
And, do I realize in hindsight that a lot of that was some internalized misogyny? Yes! Absolutely. It sucks that writers think that females don't have complexity to their lives, or when they do, it is solely based on sexual assault, the Phoenix mode.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was about to say, because one of the things also we have to remember, obviously, you had all of that baggage, which is absolutely terrible, and but even that, like the time we grew up in and the time we were coming up in, like this is the early 2000s, right?
Right.
So there's no Me Too movement.
No.
And obviously we know, I mean, at our core, everybody knows that sexual assault isn't the fault of the person who's being assaulted. We know
Right.
that.
Right.
But the culture at large doesn't seem to know that. And so many of these shoujo type stories have these incredibly, like these elements of like rape culture and boys who are just like overstepping and forcing themselves on these female characters, not necessarily in an explicitly sexual way, but so much like I feel like there are two types of shoujo that I grew up with. They're like the funny, like those romance comedies that I love so much, like for instance, like Katakano, which again is my favorite thing, like is my favorite shoujo ever, and also has its deep and dark moments, but it doesn't do that. But then you have things like fucking Peach Girl, which is like, again, I want like a victim. What do you call it? Like
reparations?
Yeah, for having subjected myself to Peach Girl, or like Hot Gimmick or something like that, or even like something that isn't as bad, but where you have these girls who are just so profoundly clueless, and keep ending up in these situations where you at 14, 15, 16, like maybe you can't really imagine yourself in the situation. And of course, we never know how we're going to react if we're in a situation like this.
Correct.
But reading it is just so frustrating. Like, why are you not cutting this horrific best friend out of your life after she tried to steal your boyfriend and sexually assault him for the third time? And why are you not telling anyone about this dude who's blackmailing you? And but where is this anger coming from? Misogyny.
It's coming from misogyny.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I don't want to say that I was like a joyless child or teenager. I wasn't. I was having my own high school hijinks. I famously ran an anime club in high school. That felt a lot like an episode of Ouran, to the extent that we called each other by our character names from Ouran. So, like, I don't want to say that I was like, I was meditated above the useless emotional dribble of high school. No, I also had big feelings about stupid things. I also had all those things, but it was just framed differently in my mind because I'd already been through so much shit to start. I realized in hindsight, especially as a child, it was a jealousy of a comfortable life.
Yeah.
And, like, I didn't have a vocabulary to describe that when I was a teenager, but I just saw all these girls who didn't hate themselves, who still had living parents, who didn't have to make excruciatingly difficult decisions as children. And I resented them for that. I hated them for that. And at that point, it could have been a male or female character, but the battle shonen that I was reading all let men go through hell.
Yeah.
And the female characters, the young ones, the ones my age, were all allowed these very comfortable lives that I simply couldn't empathize with. Like, I had that deeply with Inuyasha. Inuyasha is almost a perfect cast for me, except for Kagome. He's like, I'm just a 14-year-old girl, and this is my life with my mom. And it's like, die.
Yeah.
Perish. That is, Amanda has been through some stuff, but is in therapy.
Yes.
But yeah, like, I took a lot of that Shoujo hate and moved it somewhere else that we've glimpsed at, but we'll talk about further. We did go over some genre versus demographics, but again, I think it's really, really important to hone in on when we are specifically talking about the Shoujo to Fujin pipeline. It's really a very specific kind of Shoujo that we're talking about. Because, Shoujo as a genre or as a demographic encompasses a lot of different things.
Yeah.
But when we say it, we have a very particular kind of thing in mind.
Yeah. And again, like, I think I have so many notes on this again, and it's so hard because I don't want to, like, clutter or outline with my notes because
Do
they're
it.
just like, no, because they're like long ass paragraphs. Like I'm writing a fucking essay. I don't want to put them in the outline. So I end up like, okay, I have to remember to weave these into the conversation. But I think that, again, I think it's so interesting that we're doing this now because, again, I am terrible at watching anime these days. I don't have a lot of energy, so I just generally just like watch documentaries about serial killers and disasters because that's how I relax, apparently.
Same.
Yeah, as one
Same.
does. I mean, we
As
all
one
do
does.
this. Like, this is very common. So I don't, but I try to watch some stuff, and I think it was last season. So now we're in spring season now. So I think this is like the winter season. I am never really like. It's very confusing to me because spring in Norway is a joke. And so I always get tripped up on.
You
like,
don't have spring, so no one else.
We
can
don't have spring, correct?
No one else is allowed to have spring because Norway doesn't have spring. Got it.
Yeah. So, but I was watching last season. I was watching Hanakimi, which can we just appreciate for a moment that Hanakimi? I watched the live action drama series when it first aired in like 2005 or 6. Okay, like. The fact that this thing is getting an anime now in the year of 2025 is wild. Like, what is happening? This is amazing. And I was watching. I never remember the title of this series. It is Uruwashi no Yoi no Tsuki, which is like it's a shoujo romance, but it's one of those like it kind of subverts a little bit because in both of these series. You have in Hanakimi, obviously, you have what's her name? Mizuki, who is cross-dressing to go to an all-boys school, which she decided to go to because she idolizes a guy who goes to the school.
As you do.
As you do. And then in Uruwashi, you have Yoi-chan, who is known as the school's prince because so there you have that she is a girl and she goes to a co-ed school, but everyone refers to her as prince because she has like this very like androgynous, not necessarily masculine, but like just princely appearance. And there is a male love interest. He's also called Prince. There are, at this point, I fell off a little bit. I have like 4 episodes left and there are 3 Prince characters now. So, this is just brimming with princes. But I think this is why I think it's so interesting that we're talking about this now, because I have just been like up to my neck in these precise tropes that are exactly what kind of like when you are a young budding Fujin but you don't know it.
Exactly.
Series that have these kind of like gender transgressive characters and the cross-dressing and the other characters panicking because they're feeling some sort of way about a character whose gender is unclear. That is exactly it. That pipeline.
That pipeline is strong, and I think that leads us very, very naturally to talking about our OG Lord and Savior, which is Ouran High School Host Club. Because while I say that I hate Shoujo, there are actually plenty that I like quite a bit.
We've talked about this. You know what my least favorite part about Ouran is?
The ending?
Of the anime? Because I haven't read the manga. I own the manga, I just haven't read it.
Well, the anime ending you'd like quite a bit because it's a little more ambiguous. That's why I like Full Metal Alchemist over Brotherhood.
No, my least, I mean, apart from Merengue, who I hate, which is funny because I read a whole essay on her yesterday and I think it's really funny, but we can talk about her later. I don't like her. I think which is ironic, but I think she gets in the way. I was already enjoying it, and then she comes along and starts like directing my characters. I don't like it.
I'm literally speechless because that's just you.
Yes, but she's not doing what I would have done, so she's ruining it for me as a person. We're not going to talk about her, but okay. But I was reading this essay yesterday on Ouran and how it subverts, gender and all of these things. And they talk about, like, because they talk about otaku culture, like, and they talk about how dojin culture mirrors and kind of is similar to camp in the West. And then they use, like, the author uses a lot of, like, examples to set this whole thing up, and then they go into Oran. And then they talk about how, you know, Oran establishes these character tropes on its own, right? Because you have the prince character, you have the sadistic guy with the glasses who likes money, you have the Shota character, you have the incestuous devil twins and all of this. And then so you're already establishing how the fans tend to typecast and play with the characters. And then the Renge represents the reader or the watcher in the sense that she goes to Oran Academy in order to find Tamaki because he looks like the prince from her favorite dating sim game. No, it's not Tamaki. It's Kyoya, right?
It is Kyoya.
Yeah, I just keep thinking it's Tamaki because I don't know.
He's perfect.
Why wouldn't it be? Yeah, because he's the prince. and then, you know, but then she decides that they're not exploiting their potential enough. So then she starts casting them in these new roles and directing them. Similarly, exactly like parodying how we as fans would do it. But then I'm over here like, you're taking space away from the characters I would like to see. Please go away. Is this misogyny?
Yes! Yes!
It's a full circle. Oh no!
I'm listening to you talk about this. I'm like, that's you, Carola.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I have officially become the self-loathing Fujin. Oh my god! But I just disagree with her preferences. If she had done it the way I would have done it, I would have been okay. But no. But my least favorite part is the het romance because I don't 100%. And again, like I've said this before on this podcast, I am almost embarrassed by how long it took me to like kind of like take in how profound the way that Oran plays with gender actually is, because it wasn't relevant to me, right? Because I didn't care. Like it was like when I was in my Tumblr era, I think I was seeing a lot of people talking about Haruhi and, you know, her statement on what, you know, what does gender matter and stuff like that. And that was when I understood how much she as a character and how much the series meant to the people who were actively seeking and, you know, who were mapping out their own identity. We've talked about, you know, the Fujin to queer pipeline before and how that kind of like fits into that narrative. But for me, as someone who's like relatively fine with my gender and everything, like I didn't care about that. I cared about the twins. I did not, like I genuinely did not care about anything else. But of course, if Haruhi, and like I didn't like the way that Tamaki was fawning all over Haruhi, both in the way that he was referring to her as his daughter, because I thought that was stupid, but also, again, this is me, I like 16. But also, you know, that there was supposed to be like some romance there, but if Haruhi had been a man, I would have had a very different opinion.
I think it's so funny because we come at this from like two very different directions, but we reach the same conclusion.
Yeah.
Like for me, going through some gender fuckery at the time, Haruhi was like, oh my god, this could be me, and I could be accepted, and it could be fine. But I hated how every moment that she had was like further feminizing her. Everything was about reinforcing her femininity. It was putting her in dresses. It was, you know, making sure that she felt like a princess to this prince. So I already wasn't crazy about it because it did the thing that a lot of narratives do, which is it gave a character with a lot of personality and a lot of potential and sidelined them to be love interest.
Yeah.
It's my big issue with Bleach, with Orihime. Orihime literally has the power of a god. Like, every major villain says that she is the most powerful creature in this realm, but she wants Ichigo's dick so badly that she's willing to go sit in a corner and not do anything.
Yeah, and I mean, she's often, and I mean, given I fell off Bleach like 4 times before I eventually gave it up. Despite my love for Bleach, like I love Bleach, but I was just like between the anime fillers
We're gonna have a Bleach
and
episode.
yeah, I would love that. But if you are up to hear me talk endlessly about Biaren, my beloved, forever.
My least favorite pairing.
Why is it always like this? Like all of our conversations are just
The
like
pairing
this.
I like the least.
No, I can also talk extensively about Hollow Ichigo and Ichigo, which again just comes back to my twin sister.
No, pervert, stop it.
I can't. You listen. It's been a month. I need to get this out of my system.
I'm over here being normal with Grimmjow and Ichigo.
Okay, but I'm not saying that that's bad either. Okay,
And Aizen and the other captain. That
I mean, I do. No, okay. Gin, I love Gin, and you know, as much as I hate Aizen, I don't mind seeing Gin being, you know, yeah,
serviced.
yeah. I'm fine with that. That is fine by me, even though I think Aizen needs a punch to the face. But no, like I haven't, you know. It's been a while, you know, and I keep falling off of Bleach in the Huacamundo arc because it's just like boss fight, boss dies, new boss fight, boss dies, and it just doesn't. I'm like, I can't
That's
take
my
this
favorite
anymore. And then they killed Saizel, and I was like, and I mean, he was really fucking annoying, but you know.
Okay, Bleach episode for Halloween.
Yeah, but my point was is that exactly. So you know, I haven't finished Bleach, but even now, like Orihime seems to be reduced a lot to boobs and bimbo. Like she's stupid and naive, and she has giant breasts, and that's like what they want to focus on.
Well, and it's interesting again because talking about like my childhood trauma and not relating to female characters, I could relate to Orihime deeply as being someone who had lost a beloved family member and was trying to be positive in spite of it. I loved Orihime for that reason, and then they Flanderized her into breasting boobily.
Why can't we just have nice things?
I don't know, but Oron, so yes.
No, but I mean, yes, we're gonna keep talking about Oron, but like, I just throwing it in there because sometimes we can have nice things. Because this is again, what a perfect time to be having this discussion because I have also been on account of Torukon being bubble pop and magical girls this year, being deep diving into the world of magical girls because I have to do a presentation on it. And in the magical girl genre, which you know is a subgenre, it's kind of like a thing of its own, but it does belong with shoujo. You have a lot of these also, like, so you know, you have characters like Haruka in Sailor Uranus, which again I was talking to a complete stranger on Instagram the other day about how we still do not know if we want to be Haruka or like be with Haruka. Like it's a whole, like she's just I cannot. Amanda, send help. Okay.
Haruka noises.
Like every time Haruka's on screen, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm gay. I am holy Christ. Yeah, no, it's like Haruka and of course then you have the Starlights, the Sailor Starlights, which complete gender fuckery over there. And then also Utena, right? So you have these female characters who are gender transgressive and androgynous and just really fuck with everybody because like everyone thinks they're initially like with Haruka, everyone thinks she's a man. And then when they find out she's not a man, everyone's like, especially in the anime, which plays it up a lot more than the manga does, but like she is accepted for who she is, but there's that moment of gay panic when everyone realizes that they are like into her, and then they're like, what, but she's a girl, but then she's so hot, like what is happening here? But then there's Utena, who is referred, again, she's a prince character. She literally vows to become the prince. She doesn't want to marry the prince. She wants to be the prince. She wants to, because she wants to save herself and she wants to save others. So she becomes a princely character because she wants to help others, and then ultimately becomes like this, like this queer icon, and just like gender, like Utena is, but they are like, and these are female characters. But I think that I can't remember when we talked about this, but we had a conversation at some point on the podcast about how girlhood inherently is queer, because you have this, like, your body is changing and things are scary and confusing. Everyone's kind of like, oh, girl crushes are normal. Right. Especially in, like, and you would know this as someone who went to Catholic school, like, especially in same-sex environments. Like, it's seen as something that everybody goes through. And, and so it's common for these, like, these kind of characters to, like, they are like, they're socially accepted in their environments because it's kind of expected. But then if you take them out of that, it's like, okay, but you should have moved on by now, But they inherently, in the same way that, like, BL characters are men, but they also aren't. They're like this thing in between, and these female androgynous characters are kind of the same. So within shoujo, that's like where you get that weird, like, the gender overlap that you find in things like Oran, where gender is just like, it's, what is the point of gender, basically?
Right. And Oran, I feel like we could have a whole episode on just Oran and gender politics.
Yeah.
Oran has some interesting things to say about being gender non-conforming. But we don't have time to talk about that. It's been an hour.
Yeah. No, I think too long didn't read of what I just said, which I see now. I've actually written in my notes. Subversion of gender and sexuality is a staple of shoujo. And that, and that staple, we also find that in BL. Like, the subversion.
We're going to put a bow on it. Don't worry. We're going to put a bow on it.
Yeah. I'm just trying to, like...
But I think also for a lot of fans, us included, Oran was really one of our first times seeing the outline shown to us. We had been doing this on our own with series for years. We're like, oh, that's the cool type, that's the prince type, that's this. Oran was the first to lift the curtain and just say explicitly, here are your boys, pick yours. Like, it's fucking Kamen Rider. Pick...
And pick I did.
Yeah, and pick I did. That this is Kamen Rider, here's your sacred instrument. And now you embody, and that's your character.
But I think it's so funny because, like, if you think back, and I think maybe our experiences, again, were slightly different, because I think that you, at this point, definitely had seen more anime than I had when Oran came out, because, again, fucking Norway.
Yeah.
And we hadn't, like, I think, it's interesting because Oran was like, oh my god, I'm having war flashbacks. Because we, like, at this point, we were buying DVDs, and we were downloading some stuff. But again, it was really, like, hard to find things, and it was mostly, like, Dragon Ball and Naruto and things. And then my friend, I've mentioned her before, she was on exchange in Hong Kong, and she was the one who, I was talking to her, across the globe on MSN or something, and she had just started watching Oran. I don't know where she found it, but she told me to go watch it, and I had just discovered the art of torrenting, so I went and watched, I think they'd released 5 episodes, so I went and got the first 5, and I believe the twins fight in episode 6, which to this day, I think, is 5 or 6. It's the episode I've seen the most time, because send help. But but I was like, I watched it because she told me. So at this point, I'd mostly watched, like, shonen series. And again, like, I grew up, like, I watched Pokemon, and I watched Sailor Moon in Swedish, which is a whole other beast. Like, the Swedish dub is just, what the fuck was happening? It's so funny. I wish you could understand it. It is so funny. I don't understand what they were doing, but but so this is like my first. Like, not only are they like, yeah, exactly, like they are creating the types for all of us, but this was my first meeting with it, so not only so blatantly, but like a lot of this went over my head because I hadn't seen a lot of this before. So when they, I just remember so vividly that the first time I watched Oran, there was just so much, and you have the little boxes that explains what type they are or whatever, and I didn't get it. I didn't understand the information that was being passed to me, and like it's just so self-aware, but I wasn't the target audience yet because I wasn't aware.
It's so funny you mentioned that because at that point I had been reading BL. So, like, I had read like Gaku in Heaven and like Little Butterfly and stuff like that.
Right, because fucking Gaku in Heaven I downloaded on the same day that I started watching Oran.
So, like, I had already been, I don't want to say immersed, but like I was very aware again of that script, of that like, oh, here's 5 guys and they all do a thing. Pick one, but there's going to be a main pairing, and everyone else is the homosexual supporting cast, which is a mug that I want. Someone made an Oran mug of "You are the homosexual supporting cast," and I want that. I don't like that it's in Dirty Uncle Vic's voice because that's not how Tamaki says it in the sub. And I hate that we're quoting Dirty Uncle Vic, but I need that mug. If you're listening to this episode, let's do an exchange. But I was already very aware of that. So seeing it just like explicitly laid out in Oran, funny enough, I mentioned her when Tyler was on. Her name was Ashley. She was my anime plug. She lent me burnt DVDs of Bleach and Oran at the same time while I was reading Mars.
See, now that's a shoujo. Listen, I will die for Mars. It's my second favorite. Oh my god, it's so good.
So that was my media diet at the time, where I'm double fisting Oran and Bleach while reading Mars and listening to the Gravitation OST.
Oh, do you understand? Like, listen, if you're a younger listener, you don't understand how peak everything Amanda just said is. Like, that is just like, I can see it now. This is literally me on the floor of my room. Just like living my best life. And not knowing that this is the best it's ever going to be.
I had my Hello Kitty iPod mini player stereo that also took CDs and gave FM radio. Had Super Drive blaring. I was playing Super Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube.
It's so peak. It is just like, no, but it's so, like, I think another thing, and I think that this is something that is so hard. Now we're just going down the nostalgia rabbit hole. But like, bear with me. Like, I don't think if you grow up in the world today where everything is so accessible and everyone has like almost like a mandatory phase where they go through like manga and anime and like cosplay and all of this, like it's so common and everyone knows what it is. I don't think you understand what it felt like, because I just remember when I was like 15 years old on the floor of my bedroom playing a burnt CD with like anime songs and laying on the floor and like reading the newest volume of Mars or Katakano or one of these like shoujos, and when you are in that moment and maybe you were lucky and you were able to get like some pocky or something, like you had some sort of like elusive Japanese trendy snack, and just like feeling like I am now like these characters. I identify even stronger because now I'm like, I am like, it is just, you can't even begin to imagine.
It's almost like gender euphoria. And like, I had that going to Japan. Like, I felt, I mean, I feel the most euphoric when I'm dressed as a blonde anime man who smokes cigarettes.
Who eats cigarettes.
Or eats UK smokes cigarettes. But like the closest I've
Listen, I ordered a new shorts for my Shuichi cosplay today. I am so ready.
You're vile and I can't stand you. Why are you like this?
Why do you?
That high-pitched Yuki that I could hear right in the back of my headphones was like neuron activation. I hate you so much.
I have trained myself for this
You're
since
gross
Shoujo and I.
and I hate
Shoujo
you.
and I have the same personality, so I had to. I perfected it over many years.
Just absolute neuron activation, like you dumb slut. But yeah, like I felt so euphoric
Yeah.
in Japan on the train with a soda and a konbini sandwich.
Ugh. Yeah, and it's like, at the risk of sounding like, because we are not the kind of people who listen to me being all, oh, holier than thou, but like we're not the kind of people, maybe I was when I was 15, but like we are adults. We are not glorifying Japan.
No.
Japan has a lot of issues.
Yes.
It's a society, it's a country, it has a lot of, it has its own things. And I could never live there because I am hyper aware of me, and all my mental illness would not work in a society like that. I mean, I don't work in society. Like that's one problem. But and like Japan isn't anime. Like it isn't perfect. It isn't.
No.
But there's just something when you've spent so much of your life immersed in that pop culture that usually when I travel somewhere, I have severe anxiety, but going to Japan is like coming home.
Yeah.
Like, because it's like, this is like, obviously not my, like, I couldn't live here. I couldn't like function here full time.
Right.
But there's just something about it. And again, like I tend to live in Ikebukuro, so like I am living on Otome Road. I am living the fantasy. I am living in the fantasy land. But there's just like something about coming there that's just like, I miss it.
I have deep thoughts now. My point was, so yeah, I think it's interesting that you say that at that time my media diet was a little bit different. So yeah, Oron, it felt like how people think Mel Brooks movies are, where it's like, oh, it's such a clever satire. Ha, 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 ha. No, it's not.
What the fuck was that?
There's something clever about Springtime for Hitler. It's still brilliant. God. But like, people are like, oh, this is such a clever and witty satire. Ha, ha. No, it isn't. You're being bludgeoned, and that's okay. Sometimes satire has to bludgeon you. But you're not going to sit here and make it sound like you're some kind of savant for understanding Spaceballs. Can you tell I hung out with insufferable film guys for years?
Yeah.
So I was more aware of the script, and I think that helped me love Oron for what it was. And because I already had BL in my diet, it made me hate Haruhi even more.
Oh no.
Because I could already sense the minute they started doing like, oh, you look beautiful in this stupid gossamer gown shit. No.
Yeah. No, and like I agree because it made me really uncomfortable, and I couldn't put my finger quite on why. Like, I mean, obviously there's that element to it where again, Oran embodies the like threads the line between the BL fantasy and the shoujo realm. Like it's just because that's what it is. But then so obviously I was uncomfortable with it because I didn't want it to be a het romance. I was here for the homosexual supporting cast, and they kept trying to push heterosexuality onto me. But now I also realize that there's that discomfort because Haruhi clearly doesn't feel comfortable with it either. She doesn't conform to, like, I don't want to, like, I know that a lot of people have said a lot about Haruhi and her gender identity, and I'm not going to speak to that because I haven't given it much thought, and I also can't relate to the people who project their experiences onto Haruhi. But just from, like, the perspective from which I watch, like, at the very least, Haruhi is a tomboy who doesn't want to be a princess. And they keep trying to put her in that box, and that made me really uncomfortable, because if you juxtapose it with, for instance, Mizuki from Hanakimi, like, she, in the rare moments where she gets to wear a dress because she's like, for whatever reason, she's away from the school a little bit, and she can put on, like, normal, as she puts it, like, normal clothes and take her binder off. She's happy. She likes feeling, like, she's excited when she realizes that, oh, I didn't actually, which, again, very, very typical toxic girl culture, but, like, there's a whole episode, or, like, a whole chapter where she freaks out about having gained weight. And then she realizes that maybe she didn't actually gain weight, it's just that her boobs grew, and she's super excited about it. And then she's conflicted because now her binder doesn't fit, because and I think that is also interesting, because even though she's a girl cross-dressing because she wants to get close to a guy, but I think that it still toggles that gender dysphoria, like, almost the line of gender dysphoria and transmasc experiences. But she identifies as a girl. She wants to be a girl. It's just that the circumstances won't let her at the moment.
Right.
But then, so in Hanakimi, and also in there's another series that does something very similar. They tend to do that thing where you have, like, all boys schools, and then they make them cross-dress for the school, for the culture festival. They'll have, like, a miscon, like a pageant. And in Hanakimi, Mizuki has to be in the pageant because she's the prettiest boy in class. And so you get that, like, that double thing where it's like, she's a girl, but they don't know that. So then, and then she's freaking out because she's afraid they'll find out she's actually a girl. And it's all, like, it's just, there's just so much gender fuckery, and it's actually, it's quite enjoyable, but that is so far removed, I feel, from how Haruhi, like, her situation.
Right. Well, and that, I think one of the things that bothers me the most, and again, we really could do a whole episode on Ouran and gender politics. If that's something that you're interested in, let us know. Because I feel like that's too good to paywall. Because I'd say, let's do it for Patreon. But that feels like it has too much potential. If you are really serious and want us to go on a deep dive of, like, gender politics and Ouran, we'll do it. But I think the thing is that, to me especially, there's this very heavily consumerist aspect to Ouran, that it's all about money. Is that one of the it's about money and, like, attention economy. So the reason why they have this host club is for the attention economy, so they can play homosexuality for money, queer bait. But the only way a relationship can be exalted is through heterosexuality.
Yeah.
So then they go through that gross arc where, like, suddenly everyone has a hard-on for Haruhi. And it's like, no.
Yeah, that was really depressing.
Right, like, there's this really, really gross run in Ouran where, like, everyone suddenly wants to fuck Haruhi.
Yeah.
And it feels so inauthentic to so many of these characters.
Yeah, and it's like, it's so, because Ouran, ironically, was my first meeting with the concept of the reverse harem. So at this point, like, I'd watched, like I said, I watched mostly shonen, but I'd watched some, like, ecchi anime, like Ichigo 100%, Ichigo 100%, which, again, I think is one of the funniest fucking things. Like, I accidentally watched one of the OVAs before watching the full, so just, like, the first, I can't remember why, but, like, the first moment when he comes onto the roof and then her skirt blows up and he sees the Ichigo Pantsu and then he freaks out and there's, like, this whole thing, and I was laughing so hard, and to this day it's, like, one of my favorite things because it's so stupid and it's so funny. So and, you know, Love Hina was a thing. I was very familiar with the concept of the harem, but then the reverse harem was completely new to me. And then, but then now, like, because, again, must I talk about one of my most hated franchises that I've ever watched, which is Utapri. I will fucking kill myself if I have to watch another episode of Utapri.
You hate Utapri so
you don't understand what I've been through. I've watched 7 seasons of that thing. And because I was queer baited.
No one made you do this.
I know. Yeah, no, that was my own fault. But my point is, like, Utapri and something like Amnesia and a lot of these, like, which are based on otome games, are, like, they're reverse harems where there's a very like clear there's a very clear point to it, which is get the girl.
Right.
Like everyone's going for the girl. But Oram, and again, I watched Oram before I saw any of these other reverse harems, so it was a bit like it's easier to see in hindsight.
Yeah,
but it doesn't make any sense to me because it's a reverse harem, but it's a reverse harem where everyone's supposed to be queer.
Yes.
So it doesn't, it just didn't make sense, and I still don't think it makes sense.
No, it doesn't. And I think this lets us get into, because we could talk about Oran all day.
Yeah. It doesn't say like brief pause to talk about Oran.
It does. It says,
like 45
well,
minutes.
it says mandatory pause to talk about Oran.
Okay.
I think we both knew it wasn't going to be brief, but I think it's important to talk about then why that Shoujo background does bring some baggage into the Fujoshi world, into BL and into Yaoi. Because again, Carola and I, two elders, when we hear people complain and talk about a lot of especially classic BL, which isn't classic, we're not talking about Kazutiki no Una or anything like that, or Uta or anything like that. Like, we're talking about, like, unfortunately, Gaku in Heaven. We're unfortunately talking about Little Butterfly. We're unfortunately talking about Yuri Query.
Are you sure? Because you gotta remember that the first BL was actually number 6. I'm never letting that tweet go. I will never let that tweet go.
Did you know Yuri on Ice was the first time that there was queer representation on the screen?
I am so mad. Please, the conversations I've had.
Hitori My Hero is the most problematic yaoi I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's because you haven't seen. Like, wow, you wanna, like, even, we don't even have to go that far back because, you want to talk about Hitori My Hero? Okay, well, a few years earlier there was Super Lovers, but I'm sure you've never heard about that.
But some of this baggage that it brings with it. So one, the gender fuckery. Again, many of us are looking to BL and yaoi for representation. Why? I don't know. We've talked about this in many episodes. But
I'm like, don't look at me. I'm here for the porn.
I'm like, why? I don't know.
I think, no, I've always thought of it as the representation is just like a really like lucky bonus, because that's not necessarily what you came for.
I don't feel that flippantly about it, but it's more of like the people that get upset that there isn't exactly one blue-haired character just like them in the series, and it's like, no, you're not going to have one self-insert in Gravitation.
I accidentally had one, but that wasn't. Please understand that.
I don't know. I know who my self-insert is supposed to be, but I don't follow canon as strictly as anyone else. So I realize that my self-insert, unfortunately, is Toma. Really? Which is bad news for you. It's only unfortunate for you.
And I mean, that's the thing though, like any similarities between me and Shuichi are purely coincidental and quite frankly kind of weird. And at this point, I'm like, can I like ask Murakami Sensei for like royalties or something? Because like I mean at this point,
so you should, identity theft is a crime. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I was robbed.
But when we talk about some of the things that people complain about, and sometimes rightfully, I think sometimes Carola and I are a little bit flippant about people's grievances with BL. I think a lot of that comes from, again, that desire to protect. We've been in some very, very deep trenches where this stuff was weaponized against us. So even good faith criticism sometimes gets flagged as, no, this is an attack.
Yeah, and also, just like with the climate being what it's been for the past years.
Yeah.
It's just like, I think I tend to get, at least speaking for myself, very like defensive and Same. Like I will cut people off because I have to live in this hellscape every single day of my life. Like I open Twitter and there's like something new, or like I have to talk to someone.
Right, there are fresh new horrors.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's not that I'm necessarily disregarding people's feelings or opinions, but often they come from bad faith takes
They do.
that have just been propagated through the grapevine of the internet, and then
Correct.
suddenly you find yourself at a con face to face with some 16-year-old who's telling you how problematic insert Asian media hair is compared to insert Western glorified media hair, and I'm like, oh my god, we have been here since 1993. I can't.
Right. So I do want to give some credit to some of these grievances that will come up. Because, fun fact, also many of these grievances, Carola and I have also expressed. I think one thing, some of the big cultural baggage from Shoujo that I definitely notice and I don't like is that gender fuckery played for naivety. That whole, but I'm a man! Like, I know Carola hates that. Just get up.
I am literally on the verge of tears. I can't if I have to hear another man in a BL. I just, please.
Or like that in very intense like, sexual naivety, like, oh, I feel tingly down there.
Oh
like,
god!
Like that very, very intense like sexual naivety. I was reading fanfic late last night, and actually the character that was being portrayed was a virgin, but there was no, oh, I feel funny inside. It was, oh, I want to fuck this man into the mattress.
Right, and it's like, you know, I think that is one of the things where I have like, I feel like how do I language? I work in the library with, you know, the event group for young people.
Yes.
It translates so strangely from Norwegian to English, like the tagline is just, yeah. But so we talk a lot about YA and a lot about like these YA new adult type like stories where there is romance and smut, or even just like, you know, coming of age stories where it's so refreshing to be reading YAs where for instance in particular the female characters masturbate. Like they are, like the fact that it's just flippantly mentioned on a page, like, and she would think about her love interest while touching herself. I'm like, fucking thank you, because not everyone does it, and not everyone, like, I think a lot of girls learn to masturbate after they start being sexually active. At least that was, I seem to think, like, I from what I've gathered, that seemed to have been the case for a lot of people in my like age group, that you had sex first and then you learned how to pleasure yourself, because it was just like a, I don't know if it's like a taboo or whatever, but it's just like there is hope, I feel, in the female representation side of things. And like similarly in BL, like it's can I don't know, maybe there isn't so much of that.
I mean, we're getting a lot less of it now just because of modern BL, but again, like if there's some youth that listens to us and is like, oh, go back for the culture, and they go and watch or read an older series, they're gonna come into counter with that. Also, sorry if I looked like I was off in the Fae realm. Carola was talking about masturbation and I had deep Catholic thoughts.
Yeah.
It's like, what did I learn first? I don't remember.
I know what I learned first.
So sorry if I looked like I was off with the Fae. I was trying to remember what my Catholic sex education was like.
I'm gonna say lacking. But no. But like, I think I kind of got lost in the realm of masturbation myself, and now I kind of lost my point. But I think no, but I mean, there's like progression there, and I think that in BL it's like it's very much. But again, it's hard to say because we are getting like it's not a linear thing, right? We've been discovering that things that we consider to be like recent BLs were
Are not
actually,
recent.
yeah, like, and we've been getting publications in English that are
Yeah.
like both newer and older at the same time. So
Right.
it feels new, but it's
But it
actually
isn't.
older. So it's like kind of
Right.
like it's hard to pinpoint it. But it's a trope that has been, and again, it's because you can argue, and the scholars do be arguing, because I read a lot of academia on this stuff, but like
Mhm.
whether the uke character is a substitute for the female body, whether we are exploring our own sexualities through male, like whatever it is, like there are a lot of takes on why BL developed, and like they're not it doesn't necessarily reflect every single intention by every single
Mhm.
mangaka out there, right? So there
Right.
are a multitude of reasons why women create and enjoy BL, right?
Mhm.
But the fact is that in the roots, like, of the movement
Mhm.
in the late 70s, and the shoujo um and the shoujo roots is that
Mhm.
feminism of where expressing the female sexuality is a taboo, but so it's a lot easier to do so through
Mhm.
male bodies. And so
Right.
the male characters perpetuating these tropes that you typically find
Mhm.
in stories aimed at girls with female protagonists, there's a
Mhm.
reason why we see a lot of that, because it comes
Yeah.
from the same like place. So
Absolutely.
naturally the uke character can't have had any form of sexual thoughts before,
Mhm.
because no young girl of like the idea, like, it's just not.
It's
Yeah.
it's one of those things that the minute you unpack it, it's just gross on so many levels.
Yeah.
And we don't have time to talk about that because it's been nearly an hour and a half. But also, I think one big thing that a lot of yaoi and BL that we came up in, and now I think both Carola and I make very concerted efforts to avoid, is just the utter lack of communication that comes from
Mm.
Shoujo. Just the utter lack of, like, just two idiots pining for 150 pages.
And just like, again, like that are very much hated trope of, you see your man on the street with some woman, it must be cheating. And you're like, this isn't a high school shoujo. You are a man dating another man. He's not cheating on you with a woman. He's a gay man.
Stares hard at Katakyo. Kaede, you are a grown man in university, and Rintaro is helplessly down bad for you. What do you mean you think he's cheating?
And it's just like, and again, like, not to dismiss any bisexual characters out there, because like they exist.
Except for me.
Yeah, no, we've already talked about your lack of rights today. Like, you sit your ass down.
Sidebar, I was playing the last episode where you famously said, "Oh, other bisexuals get to do this, but not you, Amanda," and I laughed for 30 additional minutes.
I was talking to someone again the other day about how unfortunate I come off in this podcast sometimes. And I'm just like, one day I'm going to be canceled for being this, like, racist, terribly biphobic.
I did tell my coworkers about the pyramid and you realizing the optics of not putting your one black friend to work.
I mean, obviously I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, like you figured it out really fast.
Yeah, like it wasn't even part of my consideration. It was like, well,
Yeah.
obviously you can't help build the pyramid. I'll just have to put you in it. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't look good.
But you're right. Like it's also a trope, but like now that I'm thinking about it, I saw it so much in the BL that formed me. So like jazz comes to mind.
At some point, we're gonna have to do a jazz episode, I think.
I don't think there's enough there. It's just non-con. It's a lot of non-con that moves into some dub-con by the oldest 17-year-old I've ever seen.
Hear me out, though.
Yes.
The non-con episode featuring Jazz.
I liked Jazz. I always list Jazz as like formative for me, and I think that says a lot about.
No, I know, because you've mentioned it a lot. Every time we do like a list,
I was
like Jazz.
No, with all the love in my heart, I was about to fight you.
Like, no, zero shade. I'm just speaking from the experience of hearing you mention Jazz, because may I remind you that every time you do, it's the part where I, now after 4 years on this podcast?
Oh, it's been closer to 5 or 6.
What the fuck? Say, I own Jazz.
And you've never
One
read
day
it.
I will read it. I just need us to do a Jazz episode so I have an excuse to actually get on it.
Okay, you guys have to pick between Oron and gender politics and Jazz and non-con. Let us know. Because, yeah, Jazz is just 4 volumes of... It's 3 volumes of non-con, 1 volume of dub-con, with the oldest 17-year-old I've ever seen in my entire life. The most pathetic UK doctor I've ever seen in my entire life, which sparked a lifelong obsession with yaoi doctors.
There are a lot of them.
There's so many.
And they all shop at the, what was it? The oh my god, I forgot the tool store that we were talking about.
Oh, yeah, Home Depot?
No, yeah, the Semi Home Depot.
Oh, the Semi Home Depot, where it's all the chains.
Yeah, all the doctors, all the BL doctors are shopping at the Semi Home Depot.
Well, not this doctor, because he's an uke. He's a captured uke.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's getting tied to the bed by the oldest 17-year-old that has ever existed. The oldest and largest 17-year-old on Earth. There's a myriad of trigger warnings, like for date rape. That happens in Jazz. There's a lot of bondage. There's I saw you out with someone, therefore you must be cheating, and ergo I can do a sexual violence.
Which, is also a trope that you find in
That's what I'm getting at. It's like so many of these things, we inherited it from Shoujo.
And I'm just like, as I was saying that, like, the reason I stopped was because, again, Shoujo is a demographic aimed at young girls. So, like, why is girlhood so horrible? And just, like, it's one thing, like, I am not saying that sexual assault is good ever, okay?
Thanks for clarifying.
It's like, and I feel like I have to clarify, because this is also the podcast where we like to scream a lot about how fiction is not reality, and I'm allowed to enjoy my problematic BL or shoujo as I please, but it's just like, I think it's like there's just something that is so jarring about it, because like on one hand, like if you read like josei and it's aimed at an older audience, then it's a little bit more like, it doesn't feel as jarring. But unfortunately, the experience of being a young girl and the adolescence,
it's traumatizing.
It's traumatizing, and unfortunately, like this is something we have to live through. And like one of the shoujo series I was thinking about, but like they don't really bear a lot of like, unlike Oran, unlike Hanakimi or any of the other series that we mentioned, life isn't really that, like, it doesn't have a lot of like obvious ties to BL. But I remember the first time I read Life by Keiko Suenobu. So this is one of the darkest, and I mean at this point I was already reading Mars, and like Mars is dark, but it's not as explicit as Life. So Life by Keiko Suenobu is this high school girl who starts self-harming. And this was the first time I visually saw something like this. Like I'd read about it, And, I guess there had been some, like, films or whatever, but, like, seeing it in manga, it was just like, this is a girl who's being bullied to the point where she starts cutting herself, right? And then,
Right.
and it is this, it's just such a powerful shoujo manga, but then it completely goes off the rails because, spoiler alert, Life was licensed and published by Tokyo Pop. So at one point, it was abandoned, and I can't remember. I own all the English volumes that have been published, but I don't remember if I had read all of them or if I, like, stopped at a point to like to let it catch up or whatever. But, like, I picked it up and finished it in, like, I read scans of the final Japanese volumes. And this series just goes completely off the hinges. Like, it starts out with, like, her being bullied by her classmates, which is terrible, and then she falls in love with this guy, and then, of course, it turns out that he's a manipulative asshole who starts blackmailing her. And again, like, these are things that we experience as young girls, as teenage girls, and especially now, in the era of social media and deep fakes and nudes getting sent and shared everywhere. But, like, so this is, like, happening. This is being published in, like, 2006, so it's like it felt very relevant, but then it just goes completely insane. And there are like kidnappings, and at one point he tries to, like, kill her in a house fire, and it just goes completely like just completely off the reins. And it is so dark for a shoujo. And I don't know where I was going with this, because I just remembered all of the horrible things that actually happens in this manga. No, my point is, it is so dark, but it isn't, even though it goes a little, like, shoujo manga over the top crazy at one point, it isn't all that unrealistic.
Right. And, I think about stuff like that when it comes to series. The first thing that came to mind was Antique Bakery. Was a lot of that good old-fashioned shoujo melodrama, where Antique Bakery very easily could have been played as just, like, a comedy slice of life.
It could.
It was written by Fumiyoshi Naga, so right. But, like, there is an alternate universe where there's an Antique Bakery that's just a dumb. It's like Oron with cakes.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, here's your cool guy, here's your boy slut.
Here's Jean-Baptiste.
Oh, I don't think it would include, or, like, he'd be like a comedic character. He'd be more like France.
Yeah.
Where, like, oh, he's a lovable rapist.
Oh my god. But
am I wrong?
No! No!
Like, they would play him a lot more like France, where, like, yeah, I mean, we're not going to talk about Hitalia being problematic, but, like, France was on some shit. But, like, they play him more like that, where it's like, oh, you rascal, just coming in with your dick out, just.
Oh, God. Yeah.
But I remember that while reading and watching Antique Bakery for the first time, because, I was fully prepped, especially having read the manga a little bit first. I'm like, oh, this was going to be more, or I read, like, half of volume 1. Like, I didn't finish it, obviously. Like, oh, this is going to be, like, a very slice of life, like, chill. There's some guys and some cake. And it's like, oh, that's a lot of trauma for a cake shop. This is a guy who's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then the characters just started getting wackier and wackier. Affectionately.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that shoujo melodrama, I think, can be used both good and bad. Like, again, like, I think it's good in Antique Bakery. I think it's a little over the top sometimes in Antique Bakery, where it's like, oh, and you happen to be feeding the guy that kidnapped you, and you set up a cake shop to be a honeypot trap to get the guy who kidnapped you as a child. Because that's a normal thing men do.
Yeah. This just reminds me. I'm sorry, I just had a flashback to a book I just read.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No. It was.
I'm actually chasing a point, so.
Yeah, go on. I was just.
No, you're good. I think also, again, that gender politics is a big hangover from Shoujo. That yes, we do treat ukes very much like we treat women, which is badly.
Yep.
Um, we treat ukes, and I say we as in royal we. I'm not immune to uke torture because turns out I had a lot of internalized misogyny in my heart.
And I just really like stories where people suffer. I like a good tragedy. I like a good angst story. I mean, I would love for these characters to not suffer, but unfortunately, they
It's so
must.
weird because I was thinking about that with Sarazanmai, where it's
Mm.
like, oh, that ending, like I cried for several minutes about it because I was so I was so unprepared. Like I say that I'm this like, oh, I love dark brooding stories, and then something like that happens, and it's like my son.
No, but again, like I was literally, I cannot remember who, but I was talking to someone quite recently about Sarazanmai and how, because that is just one of those, like, excuse me, you, first of all, who the fuck do you think you are? You didn't have to come for me that hard. I was enjoying the whimsy. I was enjoying the humor. And then you just decided to rip my heart out like it was someone's oshiridama and then step on it like I'm not okay. I like my trauma, like if I'm prepared to suffer.
Right.
I wasn't prepared.
To suffer.
No!
It's like, that's my boy you've arrested.
Like, that's not. No, that's not okay.
But, you know, I think that there's a lot of holdovers. I would also say, like, lack of character development. Shoujo is used to having these huge casts where it doesn't matter if some people aren't people. BL tends to have smaller, more intimate casts, so it's a lot more obvious when the side character is literally two dimensional.
Yeah.
I think that there are some benefits though, and I want to talk about a series that we don't talk about enough. I'm shaking my desk. That's how excited I am.
Okay.
I think one place where the Shoujo formula worked really, really well, while technically not a BL, arguments can be made, Cute High Earth Defense Club love. Where it took a lot of that heightened emotion, gave us a story that is actually so heartfelt. The main one, we don't talk about the bastard sequels.
I've only seen the first one.
There's so many other sequels. None of them are canon. I don't care. But it takes that heightened emotion, that needing to have a Scooby-Doo villain every episode, the overarching story that makes sense only so much. It even turns the magical girl transformation into this exploration of gender queerness. We don't talk about Q High Earth Defense Club love enough.
No.
I love that series.
I have to rewatch that series.
So yeah, if you wanna see me go feral for a few minutes, ask me about Q High Earth Defense Club love. Because of course I was on the Conquerors Club. I did not want to defend the earth. I want to conquer it.
Of course.
It's not shocking information.
No.
It's not. I sent the boys a group chat question. It's like, which one of us in the group chat is most likely to be a villain? And I'm just waiting for them to roll out of bed and be like, you bitch.
I mean, I don't know the guys, but I'm gonna, I'm putting my money on you.
Right? It's like, I'm just waiting for them to roll out of bed and just be like, you. What? This isn't a question.
What is this? Like, yeah, no.
But Cute High Earth Defense Club Loved used a lot of those Shoujo tropes for the better. Everyone has a type. There is a type for everyone. There is like one direct kind of pairing and one usurper, but you could ship any way that you want to. Speaking of backpedaling to things that we inherited from Shoujo, that one fucking usurper who comes in and just ruins the entire plot, be it male or female.
Yeah.
I hate that character. Unless it's Jean Baptiste, and then it's perfect.
Which is that's a choice. No, but it's like, you know, again, because shoujo, like, there are different kinds of shoujo. So typically in like in your typical high school comedy series, the usurper usually gets like demasked relatively quickly. Like they figure it out, and either they get like written off because they get what's coming to them and they get like pushed out, or it turns out they have some reason and then they are somehow absorbed into the friend group, often against their will. Like they become part of the group and they're kind of like grouchy about it, but like the others decide that you're our friend now and we're going to take care of you. And that's like in the, you know, in these like these more lighthearted series. And I say that lightly, like, because again, Katakano, like my favorite, like it is so funny, but it has these moments that are just like so deep and so like, you know, like Arima coming from, you know, he comes from an abusive family, so he's adopted by his grandparents, and he's like he basically annihilates his own personality because he feels like it has to be perfect to make up for how horrible his dad is. Like there are all of these like dark side plots, especially like in the manga. But there you have like, it still has that kind of like lighthearted thing. So like when Maho first comes in, and again, Maho being the 15-year-old with a 28-year-old boyfriend who's a dentist, you know, she comes in as an antagonist, but then they make her their friend. And then Tsubasa, who's like super jealous because Yukino stole Arima from her, and she becomes, you know, absorbed into the friends group, and like it kind of just like it resolves itself. But then you have those drama shoujos where like that person will continue, like you say, to just ruin the entire series,
right?
And that is more, I feel like that is a lot more prevalent in a lot of BL,
Right. Where we do get the ones that pop up and it's kind of like a big drama point for a minute. Gravitation comes to mind.
I was about to say, Taki Aizawa, you bitch! What the fuck is your problem?
Why do you... I was going to ask why you hate him so much. You have every right.
I have every right. Like, like, pardon my French, but like there is, I am jealous of this person's success, so I don't like him. And then there is, I'm going to get this man gang raped, have it filmed, and then sell it to the media to ruin his career. You didn't have to go that hard.
He didn't, but he did.
I hate him so much.
I mean, he takes it pretty hard for Makun later. That helps.
I just, yeah, no. And then, yeah, no, but yeah, gravitation comes to mind. But also, again, like you said, because BL tends to have a smaller cast, like, and also disregarding my complaint of how a lot of BLs these days just go on forever, and oh my god, can they just end so I can read them? A lot of BLs are also shorter. Like, we have shoujo, we talked about this, right? There's a shoujo that has been going on since like 2003. It still hasn't finished. They're still publishing it. I'm like, I am so glad I'm not reading that tangle of confusion and misunderstandings. But like, most BLs aren't that long. They're like, you know, they're one shots, and like 4 volumes tends to be kind of like the limit for like your average series. And so that character, the usurper, becomes so much more like, he dominates the narrative so much more. Like it becomes so much, it becomes so obvious because there are so few distractions. There are so few things to like take away from it, and he just takes up so much space.
I'm going to talk about Jean Baptiste again because
because it's 4 volumes and then fucking Jean Baptiste appears and then everything is awful.
Like, for a character that appears once in the series, his shadow looms over everything. Like, it looms over the beginning when Ono talks about, you know, like previous lovers or like that. It looms over the end because even as he fucks off to leave, it's still a bit of a concern that, like, Oh, he can just come back. He's not in jail. Like, he can just...
Although, he should be.
I don't disagree with you. That doesn't mean I like him any less. And then they tried to do the same thing with Sakurako, but then it just felt really misogynistic.
Yeah, Sakurako, she's like, we did a whole thing on that. Like, she's, there's a lot to unpack there.
There is. We don't have time to talk about that.
No.
But yeah, like, there are certainly, to go back to talk about Cute High Earth Defense Club love and some of the benefits of it, I think it is important, especially with some of the more formulaic BLs, to be very self-aware. Like, it helps to say, oh, this is your homosexual supporting cast. This is your cool type. I think it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when there's not a lot of meat there. Like, it'd be jarring and like Twittering Birds Never Fly if just like boy slut appeared over Yoshido's head one day. Also, he's like a 40-year-old man.
Like, it wouldn't be a lie, but also, like, yeah.
Yeah, also, he's a 40-year-old man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it wouldn't be incorrect, but it would feel very like, well, we don't have to establish that here. We know.
Yeah.
Or, like, if homosexual supporting cast appeared over Nanohana, it's like, we don't need that. We know.
I mean, the thing about BL though is like most of the time it is literally just a homosexual supporting cast. There are no other characters. Like, everyone's a gay man.
Right. Well, Nanohana will swear up and down that he's not. But
well,
he's also watched Yashido fuck other men a little too often for my taste.
He's also wrong. So
yeah, he's also incorrect. But yeah, like, I think there are times where the ghost of Shoujo does work. I think, it works as much as I don't like it. It works in Gravitation. That chaos, that frantic pace, that wackiness, that trying to have a very like slice of life romance dotted by absolute insanity.
I love that insanity. I love like Gravitation. I will like. Don't get me wrong, because I mean, Gravitation is a BL, and I will continue to argue until the day I die that is one of literally the best BLs that have ever been created, and I will fight anyone who tells me otherwise. They are wrong. But also, Gravitation could literally, I've said this a million times, it could literally just be a music comedy. It could just be a comedy manga. And like it is a BL, but it also basically just is a musical comedy where the main characters just happen to be gay men who are in love with each other, because it has so much more going on, and it is so crazy, and good lord, I love it so much. But yeah, but again, like, we keep coming back to Gravitation, but I think that it does do a lot of those things, It
does a lot of it right. I mean, or at least, again, like I said, I don't really like it. Like, in hindsight, I don't like it. In the moment, I ate that shit up. I was snorting lines of Gravitation. Like, as a 16-year-old, love it. Now, my tastes have changed. So, like, when I go back and reread it, I don't have as much patience for the nonsense, because now I'm a 40-year-old man. So I don't have as much tolerance for Suichi just being a blob of pink, just pink yearning. I don't have... sure. Also, my OTP is Kitazawa and Aries, so the mainline Gravitation doesn't do it for me like it used to.
Sure. You go sit in your corner. Like, I don't know. You're wrong, and I... No, but like, yeah, but like, it does a lot of things right, but it also perpetuates a lot of those things, like, I mean, I will say, we all know that Yuki Eri he does some questionable things. He makes some choices that I feel like this is just complicating your life further. But I mean, one of the first things that happens after they get together, like they sleep together the first time, is when, or actually I don't even know if they slept together yet, when he sees Yuki outside of his building with Mika, and he doesn't know that it's his sister, so he immediately, but again, in theory, Yuki 80 is a bisexual man. And, you know, he writes romance novels. He's a womanizer. You know, but, like, Shuichi has that knee-jerk reaction of, obviously, he's fucking this woman.
Are we taking away Aries' bisexuality?
Yes. No, I don't mean to. I just think... And also, I think I don't know if I've said this on this podcast, but I know I said it in the Gravitation 2.0 panel when I talk about the doujins, but I think that there is a hint, and I could be wrong. Again, this is a theory, because we do know that, obviously, you know, he was sexually assaulted as a teenager. But in the Hyoko Mix doujin, which depicts the first time Yuki and Shuichi sleep together, there is a scene, like there's a moment where Yuki comes too fast, and then he apologizes, and then there's like this whole thing about it, and then Shuichi actually asks Yuki if, like, you'd almost think that this is your first time as well, and he replies, no comment, which made me think maybe Yuki actually never slept with another man voluntarily, and he's just been, like, laying down women for years.
Yeah, that tracks.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about that ever since I read that doujin. I'm like,
yeah, that tracks. Like, he hasn't had a consensual experience with a man. Right. He's had experience with men, but it hasn't been anything he enjoyed. Okay.
And, like, again, and that doujin is like, but it depends, like, I don't know, he could be just, like, bullshitting, right? But that line stuck with me. I'm like,
If we edit out all the time we talked about series that we've talked about before, this episode would be so much shorter.
But we don't do that, do we?
But we don't do that. We don't pay an editor.
Sorry, listeners.
We don't have an editor budget. Not yet, at least. But we say this to say, the Shoujo to Fujin pipeline makes sense.
Yeah.
So many of BL's greatest roots and strongest roots come from Shoujo. But that also means that some of the fruit on this mighty tree happens to be poisonous.
Yeah.
I felt very proud of that. That was good.
Very smooth. Very.
You know, we have to give credit to where we came from. But in that, we can also deconstruct and acknowledge when sometimes it's not so good. And I think you can also tell that very deeply in writers and in media critics like us, where you can see where some of us has very, very strong shonen roots. And some of us have very, very strong shoujo roots. And look at what we do with it.
Yeah.
And I think that's fascinating. I think it tells, you know, I think one common thing that's kept coming up as we get better about talking about being writers is being able to tell an artist's roots. And I think our backgrounds in very different types of anime and manga, with points of conversion, tell a lot about how we approach writing, character analysis, media analysis, and everything like that. And I also think it's why it makes us such a strong pair.
Aw. Look at you getting all sentimental.
Look at you, absolutely repulsed for a second.
You know, it's not easy for me.
Just utterly repulsed for a minute. They're like, ugh.
Please stop acknowledging my existence. Oh my god.
It's like, look at Amanda gets into the look at Carola recoil in disgust.
I can't help it.
Listen, I love spending my Sundays with one of my favorite people. My aunt did ask me when I'm going back to church,
No,
and I got to tell her, well, I'm recording on Sundays. So,
this is church. Not to put Peachy out of a job, but like you can go to 2 services.
wholesome auntie moment. She was at the midnight mass for Easter, and someone from the diocese, like their social media team, was there because the diocese has a social media team. Um, and she ended up being in one of the videos that
Oh,
the diocese posted. And we were at brunch, and she was so excited that she was on the diocese official social media.
oh,
For those of you that don't know, the Catholic Church has a very structured organizational pyramid with the Pope, who currently rocks at the top. Uh, Dioceses are basically like every major metropolitan area has a diocese, like a chapter, like Warhammer.
I
So
don't know anything about the Catholic Church or Warhammer, so
yeah, because you
yeah,
haven't been in main chat where we've been talking about Warhammer extensively.
I don't think I've actually been in our Discord.
You haven't, I know, because I'm there.
I don't know what happened. But to
Um,
be fair, I haven't been in a lot of other Discords
I was
either.
about to say, like, I don't take it personally because I know when you're not peopling, it's not just me.
No, it's like literally everybody.
Because at first, when we first met, I got upset because I thought it was just me, and then I was like, oh no, she does this to everyone. It still sucks, but I'm not alone.
I mean, to put it in perspective, I had a mild panic attack this morning because my mom texted me and asked if I wanted to eat dinner with them today. So I mean, that's the level we're dealing with here.
But yeah, it makes sense that shojo would be a lot of people's start. And we've talked about series that act very neatly
Mm,
as starting points to BL. Again, I was already a BL fan before Oron,
yeah.
but Oron had solidified a lot of what I was already feeling that was nascent.
Yeah, and like I felt the same way preparing
Mm-hmm.
for this episode and like, writing my notes, which I barely use, but it's fine. And like reading some stuff on this, and
Mm-hmm.
just like because I had the same experience like by the time I was like starting to really consume more shoujo media because again
Mm-hmm.
it was very limited and there was like for me it was like again like an influx of everything all at once,
Mm-hmm.
like there were shonen series and shoujo series and
Mm-hmm.
comedies and BL and all like coming at me from like there was no structure to this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like taking in everything. So I didn't have that experience either. I didn't actually go down the pipeline, but as an adult and as someone who talks about these things and like now reads academia for fun because who even am I anymore, right? Um I see these patterns and I
Mm-hmm.
understand like I didn't go down that path because I was taking in everything at the same time and I was
Mm-hmm.
already again like I started watching Gaku in Heaven and Oran on the same day, right? So it was all like a mishmash, but when I look at these things and I see again all of these themes that come up in shoujo, like the abject horrors of adolescence, the queerness of youth, the
Mm-hmm.
way that shoujo tends to play with gender, the
Mm-hmm.
way that it is sometimes really self-aware in like series like even like more modern series like Kiss Him Not Me, which obviously is about a
Right.
fujoshi who ships her friends rather than wanting to be the love interest, but like it you have these series that are so self-aware and like playing into it without being BL, but then
Mm-hmm.
you also have like again like in Katakano for instance, and I've been thinking about this a lot because I rewatch Katakano like I don't know, every so often because I do love it more than anything. And I love Arima and Yukino, like they are such a wonderful couple and I love them so much. But
Mm-hmm.
like at the same time, Arima has this best friend. And it is kind of hard, especially now, like as a full-fledged, like completely through the core rotten woman, to ignore this. But like even Katakano leans into it when it's like Arima has never had a close male friend until he meets Asaba, who is like this he is the straightest straight man. Like he is this playboy who's like flirting with everyone, takes all of the girls in his class to Tokyo Disneyland, like, and but there's this scene where he is holding a dinner show for the class for their culture festival, and he leans into, first of all, when I was watching this when I was 15, I didn't know what any of these things were, but he has a photo shoot and prints a photo book of himself as like Takaratsuka stars. So this is a man posing as women, posing like playing male characters. He's playing with the gender in this book, and then he publishes doujinshi about himself and Arima. So even like these very serious like romances will lean into this, and I think that it is so easy to kind of like, it normalizes the way that it fucks around with gender and sexuality, and like kind of like flirts with, whether it's like a Fujin, like a Fujoshi character in the background, or two boys that are just a little extra close. Like you get primed for it, is what I'm trying to say. Like, so if you didn't like already go down, because we were already there, but I can absolutely see how shoujo can prime you and get you more interested, and then all of a sudden that's where you find yourself.
Right. And even if it's just an exercise in, again, better media comprehension, better media literacy, I think that was a big thing. Because I remember, again, reading a lot of these manga when I was younger, like Jazz, like Yellow.
What a terrible example. Yes.
Yellow was fun.
Jazz. No, I meant Jazz. Yellow is fine. I love Yellow.
Yeah, I was reading Jazz, as a teenager does.
So wholesome.
I think like that's one of the litmus tests. It's like, why is Amanda like this? Well, Jazz was one of her first BL. And like, again, feeling that frustration and not having a language for it, not knowing why it bothered me so much. And it wasn't just that it was weak writing, it was this held over internalized misogyny that came from Shoujo. And again, when I look at, the shonen series that I grew up on, and I really don't like certain female characters, it's that internalized misogyny from Shoujo.
Yeah.
When we talk about women that exist in BL, which I remember that when we did that for CitrusCon, people were like, well, why are we talking about women to begin with? Because a lot of these character archetypes are taken from other bodies of work, and thus the way we interpret them can be quite telling. So this was an important exercise for media criticism, for media analysis, for going on a self journeyhood of what attracts you to certain series, certain tropes, and certain characters. Which is all well and good. Next month, we lose a lot of the charity and grace that we have in this episode.
I mean, even more so now. I was already mad, Amanda.
New sticker coming to the shop. I was already mad.
No! Oh my god, yes! I'm gonna stick it on everything I own. Just like, and it's like, this is the sticker you can use in every situation.
It is. Carola, what are we talking about next month?
I mean, when are we not talking about this? But it was about time that we decided to dedicate a full-on episode to talking about the mainstreamification of BL.
Woo!
Woohoo! I'm so excited.
I think, again, taking to heart that some of our audience might be younger than us. Some of them might be new. I think sometimes when you hear Carola and I talk about being gatekeepers with pride, it might come off very strange that, oh, well, BL is supposed to be about accepting everyone and that we're all equals and blah, blah, blah. You're right. Until you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because much like Animal Farm, some animals have more rights than others. This is a culmination of many things that are coming out.
Yeah.
Also, we're an award-winning podcast now. If you guys are looking to us to have a comment on what happened to Sunday, there is no comment. Stop it.
I was going to mention that because do you remember when we decided, I can't remember, I think we'd already decided on the topic, but we were hammering down the date because we realized we didn't have a date for this recording.
We didn't,
because everything was up in the air because Amanda was moving and I was dead. And I mean, if I had decided, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm not in Paris.
I did notice.
Yeah, if I was supposed to go to Paris, I would have left today. So, all of these things were up in the air. But we were talking about the date, and I said in our private chat that, maybe we should have like a roundup to talk about things that have happened lately. And I said that lightheartedly because we'd been gone for a month, and in this month we'd had some exciting things. Like, for instance, although I did have some concerns, but like, Gambare Nakamura had just released, like the first episode had just come out, and we were like talking about it, and like and we were like, I was like, oh, maybe we could mention that like off the top of the episode, like as one of the things that have happened. And then we briefly discussed our concerns, and then
yeah. So if you were looking to us for like a grand statement where we like admonish this kind of behavior, we do, but the grand statement is stop it.
Yeah. We will definitely be talking about this next month. I also fear, like, I have reached a point, again, I need that I was already mad. Right. Because, like, again, another month has passed.
Yes.
And in this month, I have been asked once again by a variety of people about the hockey series. And I don't want to talk about it. And again, it's not necessarily that I don't like, because, I mean, hear me out, okay? Again, we're going to talk about this next month, but like, again, hear me out. I'm not particularly interested in it in the first place because it's not like, if this was a million years ago when we didn't have a lot of queer shows to watch, because again, I live on a side of the internet where there is so much queer stuff coming out that I can't keep up with it because Thai BL exists and Japanese live action BL has somehow exploded also, and I am behind on all of my shows. And I do not exist in the sphere of those articles that are like, these are the 10 best gay shows, and they list like the same American shows they've been listing for the past 10 years because they don't know that there's a world out there. And so, like, 10 years ago, maybe I would have watched it immediately because it was a queer show. Now I'm like, they are bulky Americans. I don't care. And then the fucking fans. And that is my main problem. And
So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly when it comes to the mainstreamification of BL. Because this has been a long time coming. I feel like you could probably piece together an entire episode of our feelings about it if you listen to all 7 seasons of the show. But I think what happened with Heated Rivalry and then Sunday is what pushed us over to like, no, we're addressing it. Because I had a moment like laying in bed at night thinking like, I wonder if our fans are looking to us. Because like I know like Dr. Thomas made like a big statement about.
I am so excited, like Dr. Thomas and all of the academics coming together to write like this giant piece on this. My god, I'm so ready.
I saw Sam make a big statement, and I was like, are they looking to us to make a big statement? And I'm like, let me save this because our big statement right now is cut it the fuck out.
Yeah, I don't think
that's our statement
to anyone, and like it's just I am disgusted.
I'm disgusted. I'm angry. I was already angry.
Yeah,
and now I'm angrier. That's the statement. Stop it.
Yeah. I'm gonna just take a cut out of this and like post it. This is our statement. Here you go.
Yeah.
Stop it.
So
Don't do it.
So that's the statement. But we're gonna talk about it next month. I think it's important because again, I'm listening to, I'm on like Yaoi TikTok, which I have mixed feelings about. So I'm seeing a lot more of these people who did get into fandom more recently and are trying to have these conversations, but they don't quite have the history there to really have them. And I wish them no ill will. I think that they're great. I love watching younger people get into this medium. What I don't like is what the mainstream idea of what it means to be a fujoshi is.
Yeah, and I think that, it's like, as we're talking about this, like, I have two, like, there are two wolves inside of me, but there are two thoughts, because on one hand, I'm like, we're living in a world, and I guess that this cancels out itself, kind of, but, like, we're living in a world where so much information is so accessible, and, like, everything, like, I feel like people should definitely know better, because all of the information is at your fingertips. But unfortunately, a lot of misinformation is also at your fingertips. The world is moving so quickly. So, like, I feel like, especially, like, with the Sunday situation, like, yeah, we've seen similar things before. But with the heated rivalry situation, for instance, does that remind you of anything? How many years has it been since the whole Heartstopper discussion, right? It's the same fucking
red, white, and royal blue. Yeah, like
and it's because, and it's like, I feel like at this rate, but like the cycles, she's finally leaving, the cycles are shorter, right?
Yeah.
Because we used to have, like, there would be like a resurgence of this, like, every so often as like a new generation comes up. But now the new generation, it's like there's a new generation each year because of the commodification of fandom. And people, again, like, we've talked about this, right? About how so many people now are making like short video essays and stuff. And it feels like, why can't you just stick to one thing that just because for instance, just because you have a channel where you talk about cosplay, that doesn't mean that you're qualified to talk on everything fandom. Every single video person, like every single YouTuber out there, doesn't need to do a video on BL fandom. This is how misinformation happens.
I'm going to cut you off out of love because we are dangerously getting into just doing the whole mainstreamification episode.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm going to, like, I say this with love.
No, but I heard it. I was just like...
We're about to do the whole episode here, and I know I need to eat something.
Yeah, I also need to eat. This was a preview of what's to come next month.
This is a preview. So, hey, I hope you liked the show.
Welcome if you're new.
Yeah, welcome if you're new.
Welcome back if you survived the hiatus.
I mean, it was a month. Like, I hope it wasn't that true. Like, I'm very big on not taking time off, so a month off was a big deal to me. But also, like, I hope you all had things going on in your life.
I hope you're just not, like, sitting, like
clawing at the door.
Yeah, like Shoujo waiting by the window.
Right, like, when will father come back from the war? Like, trust me, I felt that guilt in my heart while I was packing and moving. It's like, we could put out an episode as, like, trucks are loading my stuff away. But
you want to know a secret? I didn't.
I know you didn't. You didn't.
I want to say I was enjoying my time off, but unfortunately, I had to fill all of my weekends with other things.
Yeah, so no. This is the part of the show where we thank our patrons. Patrons help keep the metaphorical and physical lights on. And we appreciate each and every single one of them so much. They also get an exclusive monthly video. And I'm working on getting the merch subscriptions back up. We took it down only because we decided we wanted to do some retooling on it. The way Patreon was doing it wasn't our favorite. So don't worry. We're going to try to give you guys more exclusives. But at least, at minimum, you guys get an extra video from us every month. That resumes this month, where Carola and I will be talking about something next week. Uh,
We'll talk about that after the
yeah,
show.
I will close out this window and be like, so what do you want to talk about for Patreon?
We have a plan. I promise. There's absolutely a plan in progress.
There is a plan in progress. So thank you to our patrons, including Logan Ray, Anana Moore, Moons, Aria, Starlight Esquire, Kenny, Koval, Sue, Amora Blue, Lauren, and that's it. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Listen, it feels so good to be back. I've missed Carola's face.
I'm sorry it looks like this.
You don't look bad.
I dyed my hair again. I was blonde for a few days,
I
a rare
missed it.
shiny, and then I realized I had to dye my hair on Friday, or else I wouldn't have any time, like literally all week. And so it does this weird thing when it's like freshly dyed, where it gets all like wispy and gets everywhere, and I couldn't brush it down, which is why it's like in this strange. Yeah, that's why it looks like this.
Okay. Carola, if people want to engage with us, which means a lot to us and is super helpful, we passed 700 subscribers not too long ago.
Yay, thank you.
If people want to engage with us or ask us a question or just hang out, where can they do that?
I mean, we are, as you so aptly like to put it, all over the social internet.
Mhm.
We are in a continuous attempt at migrating to Blue Sky, but the world is difficult, and so you still find us on Twitter. We are at the Yaoi Shelf everywhere. You can join our Discord, where Amanda usually keeps the ship afloat and keeps everybody social, and I pop in like a gremlin every so often and then disappear before
anyone notices. Yes.
Yeah, like I will drop something unhinged and then drop off the face of the earth. But
Carola truly is like Mothman in that regard. For like, she'll appear once every little while, cause just utter panic, and then leave screeching into the night.
Yeah. If it's any consolation, we also both of us have our own like personal socials for our stuff, and I don't update mine either. So
again, I haven't been active on mine.
Yeah, like it's not just the Yaoi Shelf. I'm just like dead. We're on Instagram again. We're gonna get better at like posting more fun stuff on there again.
Yeah, I'm planning my convention appearances for the late summer and fall. Ooh. So if you want to see me in person,
I'm going to MagiCon in Oslo in June, so I will be there in the case there are any listeners.
So we'll keep you guys posted on all of that. But thank you so much for listening. It's been 2 hours and 17 minutes.
I mean, we haven't talked to each other like in person for a very long time. So I'm surprised it hasn't been longer.
True that. Thank you guys so much for listening. We will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.